Welcome back to week 2, and we're going to talk about medical terminology and how we can kind of tackle that. So, I know an issue with a lot of students right now is being able to recognize words and know what they mean. So, I'll go ahead and start. The best way really to figure out medical terms is to break them into parts. Once you learn the basic parts like the root words, the combining forms, the suffixes, the prefixes, you can break them into parts and ultimately figure out what the word means a lot faster. Or you can take your best gander, especially if you're taking a test and it's a word you don't remember. So we want to be able to associate each term with some part or function of the human body. And when we do that, we need to be really careful that we're spelling it correctly, because things like ilium and ilium, like ilium, as in the part of your large intestine, is spelled differently than the ilium of your pelvis. So a quick quiz. Take just a minute and answer the question. All medical terms have what? A combining vowel, two roots, a suffix, or a prefix. So take just a few seconds and kind of think about it. Do they have all the parts at the beginning of the word, which is a prefix? Do they have the part at the end of the word, which is a suffix? Do they have the meat of the word, the root or combining vowel? Do they have two root words? Okay. So if you guessed C, a suffix, you would be correct. All words have an ending to them. So another one. Which element appears at the beginning of a medical term? Is that a suffix, a prefix, a combining vowel, or a combining form? So I already gave the answer to this on the last one, but think about it for a second if you don't remember. All right, the suffix, prefix, combining vowel, combining form. So the answer is B, a prefix is the part of the word that comes at the beginning of a medical term. So, hematology. So notice we have 3 different parts here. We have the beginning, which is hemat. We have an O all by itself. And we have logi. Hematology. That's how you correctly say that. So, if we break this into parts, okay, we have no prefix here. As a matter of fact, we have a root word, which is hemat. The combining vowel, which is the O, because it's a vowel, and it happens to bridge the gap in our words so that when we speak, they're easier to pronounce and say. Because if we didn't have that here, it would be hematology. Right? Hematology is much more difficult to say and understand than hematology. And then at the end of the word, we have our suffix. Now, whenever I read medical words and I'm breaking them into parts, I always start from the end and I work my way to the front. So I always begin with the suffix. So logi means the study or the process of studying. So if you think of like biology, you've probably heard this word plenty of times. That's the study of life, because bio means life and logi means study of. All right, then we have hemat or hemato. That means blood. Okay, hemat means blood. The O is a combining vowel. Now when you combine a root word with a combining vowel, that is called a combining form. So a combining form is a root word combined with a combining vowel. So hemato would be the combining form. Okay, so this kind of puts into words what I just said. Root is the basis of the term. What are you talking about? It's the subject. The suffix is at the end. Prefix is at the beginning of the word. Your combining vowel, it's usually O. Sometimes it can be an I, but generally you're going to see an O. So that's what's going to link your root word to your suffix. And then your combining form is the combination of the root word and the combining vowel altogether, right? Because if you look at our previous slide, hemat is the root, O is the combining vowel. Together, hemato would be the combining form. So let's look at this. So how many parts of this word do we have? How many prefixes do we have? Think on it for just a second. Write it down. Okay. Let's look at how many root words we have. Take a second and write it down. How many root words? How many combining vowels? Also write down how many combining forms do we have. Okay. Do we have a suffix? Well, we kind of determined that every word is going to have a suffix in medical terminology. So let's start there. Okay, so we have one suffix, we have two root words, and we have two combining vowels. So that means that we have two sets of combining forms. So gram means record. Okay, you've recorded something, a record. Cardi means heart. Electra means electricity, and then you tack on the combining vowels onto those. So this would be electrocardiogram, meaning the record of the electrical activity in the heart. Next, we have gastritis. Itis, think of it this way. Arthritis, bronchitis. Okay, itis means inflammation. It doesn't necessarily mean an infection, but it means inflammation. A lot of my students get that confused because when they get bronchitis, it's usually because they're sick. So it's really important to know that itis specifically means inflammation. It could be from a pathogen that makes you sick, or it could just be your body's response to some sort of stimulus or environmental factor. So gastritis, how many prefixes do we have? Think about it. How many root words? How many combining vowels? How many combining forms? And how many suffixes? So this one has one root word and one suffix. Okay, so gaster means stomach, itis means inflammation, right? So this is inflammation of the stomach. Now, whenever we have a suffix that begins with a vowel, we don't need to have a combining vowel. Because when we have vowels in English, it's easy enough to say gastritis. Otherwise, we'd be saying gastroitis, which you sound like you're from Brooklyn. Gastroitis, right? But we don't put combining vowels when the suffix has a vowel at the beginning. All right, gastroenterology. Gastroenterology. So take a look at this word. Take a minute. Do we have any prefixes? Write it down. How many root words do we have? How many combining vowels? What about combining forms? How many suffixes do we have? Okay, so we have one suffix, two root words, and two combining vowels, which means we have a total of two combining forms. So I always start from the back, so let's start from the back. So logi means the process of study, okay? Entero, enter means intestines. And gaster, for gastro, means stomach. So this is the study of the stomach and intestines. Now, three kind of general rules to analyzing your words. Read the meaning of the medical terms from the suffix back to the beginning of the term and across. So if you notice on this, I said this is the study of the stomach and intestines. So I start at the end and then I go to the beginning and work my way down. You're going to drop the combining vowel before a suffix if it begins with a vowel, right? Because it's gastritis with an I. The itis has an I, so we don't need that combining vowel there. That's incorrect. Now we're going to keep the combining vowel between the two roots. Okay, because that's going to be a root word. That's not a suffix. So gastroenterology. So let's take a peek at hypogastric. How many prefixes do we have? Okay, how many root words do we have? How many combining vowels? How many combining forms? How many suffixes do we have? Okay, so this has one prefix. This is the first prefix we've seen that comes at the beginning of the word. And then we have one root word and one suffix. So we start at the back, right? The suffix. So ic means pertaining to. Pertaining to. Okay, and then hypo means below. Like hypoglycemia is low blood sugar, right? Hypo is low or below. Gastro means stomach. So this is pertaining to below the stomach. So this is an anatomical term. Okay. Think of some things that are below your stomach. That could be your intestines. It could be your urinary bladder. It could be your appendix. All of those would be pertaining to below the stomach. Epigastric. Epigastric. Okay, so think about it. How many prefixes do we have? How many root words? How many combining vowels? How many combining forms? And how many suffixes do we have? So let's see. So we have one prefix, one root, and one suffix. There is no combining vowel. Why? Because ic, the suffix, starts with a vowel. So we don't need that combining vowel. Okay, so we'll start from the back. So ic means pertaining to. We're going to see that quite a lot. Okay, ic or al are some of the two more common ones. But ic is pertaining to. Epi is above, and gastro is the stomach. So this is pertaining to above the stomach. So think about some body parts that are above your stomach. Okay, we have our diaphragm. Our lungs and our heart are above the stomach. Technically, our head is above our stomach. So epigastric is a directional term pertaining to what is above the stomach. Okay. So, how do I pause this? Okay, sorry about that. I want to check my time on this recording. So we're going to get into our combining forms. I don't want to get into them right now on this video. So thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.